convening that steering committee for the transfer station anyways, so that we can take a look at commercial haulers and stuff. I think that we've got to do.
I'm just curious how much time you might think he's going to put into checking this to make sure that it's being done right.
Yeah. We'll take
And I assume he's already checking those.
He is checking those.
Well, yeah, but he's not checking them as carefully as he probably would
Right.
in this
But you'll check
situation.
I mean, you can focus on me, I mean, that's,
Nope.
yeah, I mean, that.
We'll treat you fair and
Yeah.
treat us fair, please.
Yeah. All right.
Fair enough?
Yeah.
Thank you, Greg. You're all set.
Thank you for your time, Greg. Have yourself a great night.
Thank you as well.
Item number 4, second reading of the GA amendment.
We're skipping 3.
We made no changes on the first reading, and I see no problems with the minimums that they've set up, so I would.
I'll make a motion, we consider this a second reading on the general assistance changes.
Second, go ahead, all in favor? Thank you. Don? Appoint ballot clerks.
Jan, have you got that list with you?
I will tell you that we've had more people volunteer, want to volunteer, than we didn't have any room for the voters. So we do have our list here.
So while she's passing out, I just want to give you a quick update on what he was talking about as far as tipping pad, the joint venture between, it was a deal where he wanted to go and build a place up there, hand it over to the town of Oakland, but he would have a lifetime access to it. Partnerships, you know what they say about them, I didn't like it, so I didn't want him to even discuss it, but I know some curiosity.
So the list that I've just given you, we hope to utilize them being able to process the absentee ballots early. Our last day that we will be processing them will be that Saturday before election, but we have actually asked the state to allow us the 4 extra days, so it depends on how it's going. As of today, we've had 1,800 people request absentees, and we've had around 1,100 return to us. So at the last election that we had, we only had 800 that had voted absentee. That took us about half a day on Saturday to process those. But so the ballot clerks will be needed. Do I think we'll have? No, we won't be using all of these people. We wouldn't be able to. But unfortunately, a lot of my veteran clerks, they're still a little leery of coming here. So we've got some new faces, and we'll go with those. Yes.
Bob?
So when you do the mail-in ballots and stuff, do you try to pair up a Republican and a Democrat? Is that the way?
Yeah.
Where do the unenrolls fit in?
So the unenrolled, you're right, they can be there. What I'm hoping to do is just for that day, I mean, not for the day, they have to remain in that party for 3 months, but they would enroll as a Republican that day, and we can keep them there.
No, I lost you. I'm sorry.
You can, so what happens with an unenrolled voter, they can declare a party at any time. And so if I need another Republican, then they can sign as a Republican.
Okay, and the second question is this Christine person here, she's got some relative running. Is she going to be helping with the ballots?
So
Wasn't that a question at one point?
So she won't be doing that. She won't be handling the ballots. And at the end of the night too, when we go to pack everything and take ballots out and so on, Christine would not be touching the municipal ballots. They're not going in the same, they can't be processed with the state ballots. They have to go separate.
Okay.
Dawn?
Could you review you said you had 1,800 so far requested?
Yeah.
Is that all done now?
No.
When does that start?
The Thursday before election.
And you've got 12, is 1,100, 1,200 in so far? And when's the last day that they can submit them?
8 o'clock.
Oh, right until the election. And the election starts at 8?
I'm sorry?
At 8?
At 8 o'clock. So they're using the Dropbox a lot. So at 8 o'clock, we will just have to have somebody come down to the Dropbox and lock it up, take the ballots.
And if somebody comes in after 8 o'clock with a ballot,
If they're in line,
they
we have
can
to
vote.
allow them.
They can vote. Well, if they're not in line, let's say they show up, are they allowed to vote or not?
It ends up having the polls close at 8, and we have to send somebody out at the end of the line at that point, and that's who gets to vote. If you're in line, you get to vote.
Dana will make a motion.
We have to
Dawn?
accept these?
To accept everything?
Motion is made to accept them, seconded by Dana, all in favor? Thank you. Next up is our assessors report.
And we have our assessor here to talk about that. Jenny, the floor is yours.
Okay, well, so you have a copy of the report of assessment review, and this comes from the municipal valuation return, which is a document that I have to start filling out again and have ready to send to the state by November 1st. The rule is 30 days after your commitment or November 1st, whichever is later. They're trying to give us as much time as we need to get this done. So I have a blank one of these forms on my desk that I have to fill out before November 1st. So what it's telling you is our original tax maps, who made those in what year, how many supplements were made, how many abatements were made, the number of parcels, how many taxable acres.
What page are you on, Jenny?
Am I on the first one? Okay, so page 1.
Okay.
I'm just quickly going down.
Okay.
So the statistical information, it says number of parcels and taxable acres and the population. So that's pretty much standard year after year, unless we've gone through a census, which that'll change for next time. We'll get our numbers, and so the population for 2020 will be on there instead of what was there for 2010. Okay, so our field representative is still Nancy Weeks. And so the next page has, this is what's called the sales ratio study. And this is a list of all of the sales, and I can't say even all of them. This is what we would consider arm's length transactions. There are other transactions that take place that are for estate planning or divorce, or, I mean, there's all kinds of ways that there are documents, but these are sales that have actually taken place that they track. And so you see in that first column, all of the sales are numbered. So 1 to 11, those are our low sales. And then you have the middle section, and there's 48 of those. And then you have from 60 to 70, there are high sales. So they take the top 11 and take those out. They consider those not good. And then they take the bottom ones, which are high, and they knock those out, and they work with the center portion. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to tell us where we are as far as taxing according to, our assessments are according to the market. So if you look down on lines 38 and 39, it's at 91%. So that's basically where our sales are right now, is at 91%, but we can certify 100% because we're within a 10-point range of 100. We can certify that. So that's still pretty good, but we're
What's the period of time? Is it from April to April, or July to July, or?
let's see, what did they use for
I
dates?
mean, these appear to be early 19 and
Um,
late 18.
Let's see,
It doesn't say anywhere, I think.
let's see, the month,
Says the day of the month and the
yeah,
year.
and the year. So that very first one is August of 18, and then they go through 19. But I
True,
see
but
some that
there's
are
also
7.
July.
So July
It must
1
start
to
July
June
1st.
30. Yeah, July 1 to June 30.
There
Yeah.
you go. Thank you.
Yeah. And so then there's a lot of other things that, tree growth, farmland, all that stuff. The ratio is all at 100%, but if you go down to residential lots, there again, you're gonna find residential and waterfront, they're at 91%. So we're still able to give the exemptions at 100%. We're still able to build personal property at 100%. So when you start going below the 100% mark, or then you have to start adjusting your ratio, which means you don't get 100% of the 25,000 for homestead, you don't get the full 6,000 for veterans, you don't get, and personal property, you have to adjust those things by the certified ratio.
So that's when we come into the zone where we have to start looking at a reval.
Yep, yep. And there are areas that are of concern to me with the sales that I've been seeing, especially on Kennedy Drive, just even for raw land. It's just, and there's no way that I can bump up land values to get them anywhere near. I mean, our cost schedules basically have been on the books since 1996, when our last reval was done. Kathy did a really good job with the lakes and certain areas of town, neighborhoods, with doing studies and adjustments. She was very good at that, but Kennedy Drive is a very big project. And when Bill Van Tynen was here helping me with the CMP on the station on County Road, I mentioned that to him, and he said that would be a big project. So that would be one area in itself that a reval could be done and a study made, and new values for land and buildings, especially commercial, because that whole path is going commercial, and there's very little residential at this point. So we have to try to figure out something for those people, that where they're still residential, come up with a value that's higher than what it is now, but certainly not as high as what a commercial property would be. So just a little bug in the ear that we need to be addressing some of these things at some point. But overall, we have, our assessment rating has gone from 11 to 10, which very good is between 1 and 10. So we're at the 10 right now. If we can hold on to that, that would be great. But the sales that I just started doing transfers from April 1st. I do a calculation to see where it is to our assessed value, and it's in the 80s, and it's 80s, and it's the 80s. And so, People are just paying more than what our cost schedules are allowing. And I try, I go out and I look at these properties and I just can't find any more value. I can't find where to bump it up, to get it anywhere near, so.
So if we did if and when we do a revaluation
Yeah.
again, you have to do everybody? Or can you just do
Well,
Kennedy Drive?
you can do partials. As a matter of fact, I was talking to Dave Savage the other day, and he said in Madison, that's how they're doing it. Or one town that he does, and I think it's Madison. Maybe it's Norwich Walk, I don't know. But anyway, one of those towns is doing similar to that, and they are taking certain areas that need it the most and doing those.
So if you
that-
had,
that is,
let me give you a hypothetical, if you have an acre of land on Kennedy Drive,
yeah.
and you have an acre of land out on the Smithfield Road, let's say I own an acre of land on Smithfield, I don't, but if I did, would the value going up on the acre on Kennedy Drive affect my taxes?
On Kennedy Drive it would, on Smithfield Road, no. It depends on your
Or maybe I
neighborhood.
said that wrong. If the value of the property on Kennedy Drive, or if it sells for twice what you thought it was worth, does that sale affect the lot that I have out on Smithfield Road? No. And that's why you can do a reval of a part of the town.
You can, and yes, when the lakes, properties on the lakes were just skyrocketing, and Kathy did a study on each lake. Each lake ended up having a separate price per acre for land. Messalonskee was the Cadillac, of course, and then it went down to East Pond. So they were increments, and it was the sales in those areas